Dive in the deep end, it's time to defend your movie.
Hello, friends, and welcome to this week's episode of Defending Your Movie. I am your host, Jeremy Meyer. So today we are looking at one of my favorite movies. It's been a favorite movie of mine since I was a kid, and this is something that me and my guest today, Victor Grubbs, get into, which is, this is a movie that can be enjoyed on multiple levels, even if one of them technically might not be correct. Today we are looking at Starship Troopers, which is maybe one of the most known cult classics, maybe the definition of a cult classic, directed by Paul Verhoeven, who is maybe the king of the cult classic, who did films like RoboCop, Starship Troopers, I think Total Recall, and then Showgirls. Quite a career. But a very specific type of filmmaker, and this was a film that when it came out, when you're a kid and you're watching it, it kind of works as just this big action movie, like sci-fi, shooting bugs, and I enjoyed it that way as a kid. And then as an adult, you realize that it is a completely different beast, and, I think that was maybe lost on modern audiences, and a lot of that probably had to do with the way they marketed the movie. Because definitely marketed as just a big action movie, which it does work that way. But we're going to get into the specifics and the nitty-gritty of why this is maybe a misunderstood classic. But before we do that, let's get into our plugs. So you can always follow the show on our social media at Defending Movie on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow our merch store at belowthecollar.com/defendingyourmovie. And of course, we have our Patreon at patreon.com/defendingmovie. And don't forget, you can always save 21% off your order from the Cryptic Closet if you use promo code DEFEND. They just added some new shirts up there that I am a big fan of and will probably be wearing very shortly. So be sure to go check that out. Use promo code DEFEND, save 21% on your order. But without further ado, let's get into our discussion of Starship Troopers with Victor Grubbs. One thing to say about this movie is I love the fact that you can appreciate it in multiple ways. Mm-hmm. Because I was, this came out in 97. I was probably like 8 or 9. Probably 9. No, 9. I was 9 when this came out. Sorry, I don't know my own birthday.
It's okay.
And when watching it as a 9-year-old, it's just, or a 10-year-old or whatever, it came out on DVD. It was just like big action movie.
Yeah, lots of guns and bugs and aliens and yelling and all that stuff. Everything a boy wants.
Yeah, and I don't remember when it turned when I realized, this movie's about fascism.
Right, because that's a key part of it.
Yeah, like it's crazy, and like I've never read the book, which I was actually kind of looking up a little bit before we were recording, like what the actual plot of the book was, and to come to find out that the book is kind of doing the same thing that the movie is doing, where it's talking a lot about pro-military and stuff.
Yeah,
but
just
the
a
book,
little more earnest.
Yeah, the book is just very serious about it, and the movie kind of turns it into a satire, which is fascinating.
Yeah, like that's it. It honestly, my first time watching it, I was actually pretty old when I watched it. Honestly, it was only a couple years ago. But
really?
So I was able, yeah, exactly. So I didn't get it when I was young and just kind of looking for action. Like I got the whole package, and that's why it's one of my favorite movies. And like when I told my father about it, he was saying like, "Oh, it's fine. It's the acting's bad." And I was like, "But that's the point. It's like a it's like a propaganda film essentially."
Yeah, even like the camera work, it looks like a propaganda film.
Exactly.
At some points. Like
like,
in the classic Verhoeven tradition, he has the like kind of interstitials of like the news propaganda stuff. Mm-hmm, but even some of the actual scenes, like when they're in the training section and the dude gets his head shot and the camera does this like hard zoom on Rico. It's like, it looks just like the propaganda footage.
Yeah, exactly. Like the same kind of camera and everything. Like I got those vibes. And especially at the end, well, it was already pretty much I can't remember the very ending if that was a part of a commercial or what, but like it was so commercialized when when they went through each section, when they went through Carmen's section, they're like, join the
Yeah.
Space Marines now, and you saw Johnny like, come on, you want to live forever and all that. Like that looked like the end of a commercial.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's they are now ingrained into this society that they have been kind of tricked into. And like when I watch this movie now, I'm like, oh, this is like a tragedy. Like,
it really is, because it starts off such happy high school, like, you know, these young people are can do anything, and then they all become like they're all beaten down by this society into what it needs them to be, what it wants each of them to be.
Yeah, like, so I don't know if you've watched any of the Red Letter Media stuff, but they actually did a really good look at this movie. They do like a review series, and I was kind of checking it out, and they pointed out in the beginning there's one moment where the teacher asks Rico, he's like, oh, you know, do you understand what it is to be a citizen or whatever? And he gives him just like the textbook answer. And he's like, yeah, but do you believe it? And he's just like, honestly, I don't know. And it's kind of that one little glimpse of humanity he has in the movie.
Yeah.
And then his trajectory is just watching that get beat out of him as the movie goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. There was one point where he questioned, I don't know what I believe. And after everything after that, he was spoon-fed. It was fed to him, and he just wearing for it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, like it's essentially watching someone just get radicalized.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what this movie was. You watched Rico make that slow transformation from a naive high school kid who doesn't know what he wants to do into a hardened killer for this society, you know? Like somebody that can be happy to go out and kill bugs and not really show emotion when people around him or people he cares about are dead. Like the person he mourned the most, I think, was Diz, and that wasn't, all that really did was spawn revenge. It didn't really like change him or give him like an emotional change, you know?
Yeah, and so like one thing that jumped out to me this time is when he's dating Carmen in the beginning, and he says I love you to her, and he has to like convince her to say it.
Yeah, he's like, just try it on. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And then literally he does the same thing to Diz later in the movie where she says I love you and he doesn't like say it back. Like,
oh, I didn't see that.
And it's just like, you know, she is actually in love with this pilot guy, and Johnny is actually in love with her, but she's not in love with him. Diz is in love with him, but he's not really giving her the time of day.
Yeah.
It's like there's all this crazy social stuff going on, and it's just kind of like going over all these characters' heads.
Yeah, exactly. Like none of them really paid attention to each other. They just paid attention to what they wanted. Like their eyes were forward the whole time.
Yeah.
And yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of self-awareness really.
No, and it's depressing. It really is.
It really is. It really is, because even the happy parts of it, like you saw a lot of hints of like what kind of society this is. Like the way they played football and how like aggressive they were, and like towards like not even necessarily competing to win, just competing for like just dominance, just to show that you're better at like everything. Like the rivalry between Rico and is that his name, Xander?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but the rivalry between them was all completely 100% over a woman, over the affections of a woman. Like,
yeah, and it's a woman who like Rico only signed up because of her.
Yeah,
but then ends up just moving through the ranks as he goes on.
Yeah, exactly. Like he signed. Hey, right, he signed up to the mobile infantry to follow her out there, and then next thing you know, he's a commander of his own thing, and she's not even giving him the time of day.
Yeah. And like it's like, oh, they kind of end up together at the end, but it's only by nature of the people they were actually in love with are dead.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like,
Xander and Diz are both gone. It's like, might as well, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like everybody's just miserable, but they're like happy. It's very strange.
Yeah, they're all like miserable internally, but like they have everything they think they need to be happy. Everything that society has told them they need to be happy. Like they're both like Carmen's a pilot, Rico's a commander, Doogie Howser's the Führer.
He's essentially
apparently.
like an SS officer.
Yeah, exactly.
When he shows up again.
Exactly.
Like you see him in the beginning, and he's kind of just like joking around with them, like clearly the smart one of the group. And then later in the movie, he's just like, "Oh, you know, we ran the numbers and knew how many people were gonna die when we sent them there, and we did it anyway."
Exactly. He's like, are you mad? Well, too bad. That's what we got to do. This is war. Like, wow, Jesus, the most lighthearted one of them all is this. Which, now.
It's funny because in this war, the humans are clearly the bad guy.
Yeah, like, clearly, very clearly.
there's so subtle hints that like, oh, the only reason the bugs are even attacking us is because we just showed up on their planet and started building outposts and probably didn't even know they were there.
Exactly, and we encroached on their territory, but like we've gotten so aggressive against them.
And even in the classroom scene, the teacher is just like basically just hammering that like, oh, violence is the answer for all problems in history. So that's just what we do.
Which is a very, very human, very human concept.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard the theory that that the meteor that hit Earth was a false flag operation.
Oh no, I've not heard that.
I'm trying to remember exactly why. Okay, well, essentially, it's like how would bugs have the capability to move an asteroid? You know, shoot a planet-sized thing. Like they shot plasma. But, like, there's nothing that big, and if there was, they probably wouldn't have as much to worry about.
Yeah, I think they try to imply that it's them shooting the plasma into the asteroids, but it's like, how would they know to aim towards Earth in any way, shape, or form?
Exactly. How would they know where Earth is? Like, they haven't left Earth.
That has convinced me already.
Yeah, it's that. In this fascist government, I 100% believe they were looking for a fight to have, and they're like, might as well like, hey, galvanize everybody.
Yeah, like, we want these planets, they have it, so let's think of a reason to get them out of there.
Exactly. This way we can recruit more people, we can get into a war without political backlash, and it'll be great. And we can do violence, what we love to do.
Yeah, if that's the case, like, they also probably sent the colony there knowing that the bugs were there, so they would kill people and we would be outraged. Exactly.
Like, and I think there was a little more to the theory that I can't remember, but like those are like the main points. Is like how did the bugs send an asteroid to Earth specifically?
Now I want to look into that because this is the first I've heard of it, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly. Like I 100% believe it was a false flag operation. And Rico's parents and all of Rio de Janeiro died for glory.
Yeah, just to drag us into the fight, which is 100% the thing that brings him in.
Exactly, because he was ready to leave at that point.
Yeah, it's kind of like a flick of the switch of like his personality from that point on.
Yeah, definitely. He still had hints of Rico, but like after that happened and like he lost his parents, he became the war machine.
Yeah. Which, was it Casper Van Dien? Like, he hasn't had, like, a huge career outside of this.
No, this is pretty much it seems like.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, these people were perfectly cast for what this movie is. Yes. And, like, kind of Neil Patrick Harris is the only one who maybe kind of went on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, there was, what is Carmen's name again in real life?
Denise Richards.
Yeah, okay, I just remember the name, but I don't remember seeing her in anything else, really.
She did a James Bond movie, but she's notoriously known as the worst Bond girl. Gotcha. Okay. Because she was in The World Is Not Enough, and she plays, like, a nuclear physicist, and everybody's like, yeah, okay. Right. Like, she's a nuclear physicist.
I barely believe she's a pilot. Like,
yeah. And, like, this movie only works with her because of, like, the 90210 aspect.
Yeah, exactly. It's the nature of the movie. Like, they all are pretty but empty between the head people. They're supposed to appear that way because it's a propaganda film. So it's supposed to be kind of like perfect specimens, like, so that you can, pretend that you're them.
Yeah, and, like, Jake Busey, like, Gary Busey's kid, like, I haven't seen him in, like, a ton of stuff. Like, he's kind of
he was
fun
in The Predator. He was in The Predator.
I've only seen that movie once, and I don't know if I could bring myself to watch it again.
I wouldn't. I've seen it twice, once on my own and once for the podcast, and I wish I didn't do it that second time. I wish I didn't do it to myself. It only gets worse.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it was the best comedy of that year, because not intentionally.
It's Predator, though. It should be. Anyway, I'm not going to cry about it anymore.
I literally paused that movie to laugh at the end when it was like translating the Predator.
Yes. Oh my god.
I was just like, what is this movie?
There's so much laugh-worthy stuff in there. Like, it's so much not laugh because it's funny, laugh because it's cringe. Like the whole thumbs up thing, the terrible CGI. Like when he was when he was eating that dude's head off. Like I was like, is this like a Microsoft Paint picture? Like what is this?
Yeah. Which, we're talking about a movie from 1997, and the CGI in this is better than in that.
So much better. It's leagues better. Like
I am amazed at how well this movie holds up from a CGI perspective.
Yeah, when I first watched it, I did not think it was 97. I thought it was like at least like mid 2000s. It's incredible, like because he doesn't overuse it. Like Paul Verhoeven is so good at like blending practical and CG elements, and practical and not even necessarily always CG, just special effects. Like he really like believe the world that he creates.
Yeah, and like there's still a lot of model work in this movie, like when she's flying the little lander through all the big ships and stuff. Like those are all models and stuff. But like the bugs themselves, like it's clearly, you know, they have some practical stuff, but like specifically the scene I was watching like right before was when they're in the outpost that's getting swarmed, and like it looks great.
Yeah, it looks incredible. Like the CG elements blend so well. Like it doesn't take you out. The only time I really got taken out of the movie was when Rico was on top of that the fire spitting bug, the huge one. But that's because it's hard to make the human body look real in CG. Like it's very difficult, and I get that.
Yeah, at least the bugs, it's like it's not anything we've ever seen before. So we have no real life comparison. But
exactly.
Yeah, the fact that they have so many like on screen at the same time, and like the way they're interacting with the environment, even like they're in that scene, they're getting shot and falling into like barrels that are moving. It's all really well done for 1997.
Yeah, it looks really, really real. Like the way they climb up the walls, how they like run up to it, and they have to slow down, and you see them reorient themselves. Like it's really, really good stuff. Like I believe every second of it.
Yeah, like I think it's one thing that has helped this movie survive as long as it has.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, I can appreciate the story, and I love a good story, but like I won't go back to it if the action and all that, if the on screen elements aren't fantastic, and it blows it out the park in my opinion. Like I love Verhoeven and Neumeier and Basil. How do you say his last name?
Which one?
Basil Palderis. Yeah. Like that trio, that's an incredible trio.
Yeah, there's so much Verhoevenness in this movie. Like,
oh my god,
this one, like I'm not super fluent in a lot of his movies, but I've seen the big ones, you know, like RoboCop, Total Recall, and stuff. But like as far after RoboCop that it feels the most RoboCop. Like even the music feels very reminiscent of like the theme music for RoboCop.
Yeah, the drive montage. I confuse the drive montage from RoboCop and like the theme. It's like one of the fighting themes. I think actually when the base is being overwhelmed. I think I confuse those two themes a lot because like they're close. They're different, but they're close. Same. Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm actually wondering if it was the same composer. I'm not sure who did the music.
Yeah, no, it's the same composer. It's still
okay.
Basil Palderis. Yes.
Palderis, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it works though. Like even if it is like a similar orchestration for part of it, cuz it's definitely one of those songs where when it starts it sounds the same and then it kind of changes a little bit in. But like it totally works for both movies.
Yeah, exactly. They're not like so similar that it's like you really notice it until like afterwards, like, and you're trying to hum one and then you end up humming the other and like, oh shoot. But it works. It really, like I said, it punctuates everything. The action is really good in this. Like I love a good military action movie.
For sure. And like I was saying before, like you can watch this movie in like for different reasons of like, oh, I kind of want to watch it for the satire, or I do want to sit there and just sit back and watch a big sci-fi movie of people shooting alien bugs, because it totally works both ways.
Yeah, exactly. The only
like
thing
for years I watched it that way.
The only thing you don't really get is like a well done like drama / like action movie. Like the script is great, but like, you know, the actors, they do what they're supposed to do. But they don't. It's not like you're getting an amazing performance, but you're not supposed to really.
No, they're playing it very cheesy. When you have lines like "they sucked his brains out," like,
I always,
like you know what you're
always
getting.
laugh at that every time.
So
and Michael
good.
Ironside kills that.
Oh, he's so great.
He turns back, looks at the camera. They sucked his brains out. Like it's great.
Yeah, like he 1,000% understands the assignment.
Yes, exactly. You know, he knew what he was doing. Like everybody, he's probably honestly the best one there. Michael Ironside, but sure. Yeah, but everybody like did the role they're supposed to, and that's why I can go along for the ride and enjoy the ride and enjoy like the where, because everybody is where they're supposed to be, basically.
Yeah, and like I saw this movie like right when it came out on like DirecTV, I think. Mm-hmm. It was one of those movies, like, this is, aging myself a little bit, but, recorded it on a VHS when it came out and would watch it all the time. And, all that stuff just going over my head as a kid, but still just loving it. And then, finding out years later what it actually is. I'm like, oh, no, I love it for this, too.
Mm-hmm. It's like I love it even more now. I kind of wish I had gotten that delineation.
Yeah, you have a very interesting like trajectory with this movie, having not seen it until recently.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever I was already in the film, theory and studying film, I had I want to be a writer director, so I'd done a lot of worked on a lot of writing stuff. So I saw what it was when it first came out, and I kind of wish I could enjoy it separately, but like also it made me enjoy it more like in the first time. Like understanding both aspects of it. Like honestly, it was one of my. It's like a big memory of mine because it was like it was a great day because I just loved the movie so much. I was into it.
Yeah. So you were already like going into it. You knew about the satirical angle of it before you had even seen it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had heard about it, and I'd seen like clips and seen like kind of how it was. And I was like, oh, this is a kind of a over the top story. I didn't as much get the satirical elements, but I did get. It was over the top. Well, I didn't get the commentary, I should say, until I watched it, and I was like, oh, I see what it's saying now. But I did see that it was supposed to be really over the top and really zany, not zany, but like over the top is the best word for it.
yeah. Like for me, it was just this is just a cool movie,
mm-hmm. Which like, it is.
That for you, it is, and like. For so many reasons, and the fact that like in 2021 I still love it just as much as when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is a tragedy that it did bomb, but like it is also a weird thing where like it still got sequels.
It got a lot of sequels that were apparently terrible.
I've only seen the second one, which it's not good, but I don't hate it. But it's one of those things where they took the wrong lessons from the movie,
gotcha.
Because the second one is kind of just a horror film. It's just Alien almost.
Okay.
It's people are trapped in a like a facility, and there's bugs outside, and they're waiting for rescue. But there's some new type of bug, which is essentially like a parasite that can take them over. So the people inside are getting taken over one by one.
Okay.
And the only like the hero of the movie is like a guy who they had locked up in that facility because like, oh well, he's like a criminal who was going AWOL, but it's like no, he actually just knew what was happening, and they put him in jail, and by the time everybody else was dead, he was safe because he was in jail.
Huh.
It's weird. It's interesting. Like it's not great. I don't hate it, but like I wouldn't recommend it. I haven't seen the third one, which Casper Van Dien actually like returned for.
Okay. So he came back for one.
Yeah, and I think it's written by the same writer. The same writer might have did all three of them. I'm not. Yeah. Okay. So it looks like the same writer at least did the first and the third one.
Okay.
He also directed the third one, and yeah, he wrote this. So he wrote all three.
Okay. Well, Ed, dude. Because I just haven't heard anything good about the other ones, like especially the third one. I hear a lot of people talk bad about the third one, but the second one kind of gives me Alien 3 vibes almost. Yeah,
like I kind of want to revisit it and just see like, oh, is it really that bad, or is it just kind of like whatever? It's definitely like a smaller scale.
Okay.
And, the third one, same. Like, third one had a budget of, like, it looks like, on Wikipedia it says 9 to 20 million. So
oh, wow. Really Jesus.
But, the first one was, like, 105 million.
Really? And that's in 1997 money, too. Wow.
Yeah. And it only made, like, 120, so.
I see why they pared it back, yeah. Well,
yeah. And
that
the third
sucks.
one was, like, straight to, 2 and 3 were both straight to DVD, so.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Have you seen the animated movies though?
No, so there's a couple of them now, right? And I hear those are actually like decent.
I'll have to give them a shot. I think there's two. I think there's two.
It looks like Traitor of Mars is the most recent one. Came out in 2017.
Yes, but excuse me, but is it good? That's always the question.
It looks like Casper Van Dien is also in that one.
He's making his money however he can.
It only has 4 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes,
Yikes.
1 positive and 3 negative. So.
Yikes! That's not a good sign already. And that's for the Traders of Mars.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's been out 4 years now. So man.
Yeah.
Well.
Then, there's one called Invasion, which I'm not sure. This is 2012. Probably not better.
I doubt it. I think this is probably one of the lightning in the bottle movies.
Yeah, like they've talked about a remake, and like I just don't think this movie works outside of like somebody like Paul Verhoeven doing it.
Yeah, no, this is the perfect material for him. Like his, first of all, over the top nature and like the news breaks and the satire he loves to do is perfect for Verhoeven. Yeah. And I just don't know how you would follow up like a satire like this, like a political satire like this. Like this is really, really essentially a propaganda film, and like unless you make another propaganda film, but at that point you're kind of just repeating the formula.
It's already been done.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm a person that always says you can do anything if you're creative enough. I just don't know how I do it. I don't know how to do it.
It is not the thing that I would figure out.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, if you could make a good one, amazing, great, all power to you. But I think it's good where it's at right now.
Yeah, and like I guess I give him credit for the second movie for trying something different.
Yeah, like a smaller scale alien type thing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That honestly made me want to watch it more, knowing that it's slightly different.
Yeah, and I think the third one was just like, oh no, we're just doing a big thing with a smaller budget again. And
oh no, baby, that's not how you do it.
No. And I've definitely seen clips of it, and like I think some of the effects, it's very like Sci-Fi Channel level, like not great.
Yikes! Like maybe you guys should have just spared your money. Maybe did a TV show if you had to do something.
That would be interesting. Like stretching out the long form storytelling. Maybe that's a way to approach it.
Yeah, maybe like serialize like a news program. Or like
maybe shorter episodes. Like don't try to do like an hour-long action drama. Do like a half-hour like satire thing.
Yeah, exactly. That would we could try that, but like making more movies just doesn't seem to be working right now.
No, and honestly, I don't think there's much life left in this franchise at this point.
Yeah, I'm surprised something was made as recently as 2017. Like I would honestly just leave it unless you want to like, well, no, because I'm like maybe if you go back to the source material of the book, but like that's essentially fascism. That's the last thing we need right now.
Yeah, I don't know if that's so watching it this time, I was like, oh, this is just like the hard right's wet dream is essentially what I'm watching.
Exactly.
Like if you were to take it completely seriously.
Yeah, no, this is the world that they want. This is like, if they could make this story a real life thing, they absolutely would. This would be the propaganda film they would make if they were in charge. Yeah,
I think they're trying, but hopefully they will not.
No, yeah, we don't need to have anything that like glorifies that, because I was watching the behind the scenes on it, and a lot of people, when they first read like the script and all that, they're like, "What do you like? Do we really want to support this?" But Paul was like, "No, this is hilarious. Like, what are you talking about?"
Yeah,
like read the book, and even in the book, I know they had like it was still in a little more crazy. Like they had like power armor for each Marine. And,
which they do have in the third movie, I believe.
Okay, interesting.
They do bring that in.
I'm sure that was a large part of the budget.
Yeah. Well, I think they're all CG and very poor looking.
Oh, yikes. Man, I'm not going to watch the third one. I might watch the second one. I think I'll skip the third one.
Part of me, it's just that morbid curiosity. Just want to, like, see what it's about. Because I did hear they did, like, bring back some of the satire back, at least, that the second one doesn't really have.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll do a drunk watch of it then.
Yeah, that might be the only way.
Yeah, I'll try that.
I'm trying to find what movie this was, because this movie had recycled costumes in something else.
Interesting. The original Starship Troopers?
Yeah, they used the costumes from Starship Troopers in it was Power Rangers.
That's crazy.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was one of the later seasons of Power Rangers. They have these like soldier characters, and they literally just reused the costumes from Starship Troopers.
I need to find this. I did not know that was a thing. Wow.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which season it was. I know it's one of the later ones. Because
man.
I recently was like going through this YouTube series. I've been falling down a Power Rangers hole. It's Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. Okay.
Oh, I used to love that one. Wow. Hold on.
Yeah, so one of the episodes in there, I think it's like they go on a rescue mission somewhere, and they're literally just in the Starship Troopers costumes.
Yeah, that's crazy. I need to know that exists. Like that's so crazy that link exists. Like and also don't be ashamed of your Power Ranger hole. That's fine.
I'm not ashamed of it.
Okay, because I do it randomly too. Like it's just the memories for me and the amount of actual Power Rangers there are. Like I don't even want to go down the list of the each show, but like Jesus.
Yeah, there's a website called Atop the Fourth Wall that I don't really interact with very much, but they have this video series of history of Power Rangers where he goes through and like reviews every season, and I've watched them all before, and I was recently like rewatching them. And then we did cover that 2017 movie for this podcast, which I am actually a big fan of.
Oh, nice. There are two different movies that I like each one. I'd like them to be a little more cohesive is all.
Yeah. It's one of those ones where like I liked it more when I saw it, like the more times I saw it. And like some of the lines between the tones like started to blur like on repeated viewings.
Oh, interesting. Well, honestly, I'll give it another watch. I think I only saw it the one time too, so I think I'll give it another shot. Because, like I said, I did like a lot of the things in it, and I liked the fights. That was cool.
Yeah. Oh, the last half hour of that movie is just pure joy.
That's all I wanted. Just hearing the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers theme and everything. Like, if I could have had the whole movie of that, but that's okay.
It's great. I that last half hour makes the whole movie worth it.
Like, I do kind of, for some reason, I'm a little nostalgic of the original Goldar look, but I'll look over it. I'll overlook it.
Yeah, that I can't defend the Goldar thing, but it's okay.
Yeah. Well, I'll give it another shot. I'm sure it's on something.
But yeah, like on Starship Troopers, like one of the things I was noticing this time around was just how willing they are to just use nukes all the time.
That like you shouldn't have a portable nuke launcher. That's insane to me.
No, and like literally, it's just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna go in and bomb everything, and then if you see a hole, just like shoot a nuke into it. Like they're just so willy nilly about it.
It's like radiation is a thing. Like the blast came right by y'all. I'm just so confused. Like I was at the point where I was wondering if they were actual nukes or they were just calling it nukes.
Yeah, I did wonder that. Like there is like little mushroom clouds, but it's like, oh, maybe it's like a high yield bomb, but not radioactive.
Yeah, because I can't wrap my head around that. But I mean, also I wouldn't be surprised like if they just didn't care. And
yeah, I'm definitely like the way they paint the society. I'm definitely willing to go with. Oh, they don't care if they get killed.
Exactly. Like, as long as we're killing bugs on the way, that's fine.
Yeah, like even the people they run into throughout the movie, like there's the guy when Rico's signing up, he's like, "Oh, mobile infantry made me the man I am today," and he has one arm and no legs.
Exactly, like he's lost all of his limbs.
Signing up recruits.
Yes, he's just seemed proud of that. Like, and another thing that really got me was the training, which was very very much not the training they should be doing to fight alien bugs. Like, why are they doing squad to squad tactics here?
Yeah, and like they're learning knife throwing.
Yeah, like what is the point of that?
Yeah, like, and then as soon as they get thrown into battle, they're just all immediately eviscerated.
Yes, because you did not prepare them correctly. They're like, no. I don't know what to do here. There's not another squad playing laser tag against me. I'm not dodging knife throws. Like, what are the tactics here?
And there's also like constant references to, we think the bugs are just dumb bugs, but they're clearly like as smart as we are, or maybe even smarter in some aspects.
Yeah, that Pee Wee Herman looking guy in that commercial, and he was.
He's like, I'm offended that you think a bug could be as smart as me. Or
like, can we at least posit the possibility so we can fight effectively? Because I cannot even fathom that a bug would be a thinking bug. Like, wow.
Yeah, it's literally like watching fucking The Right on C-SPAN like today.
Yes, exactly. And it's really disheartening, but that's the kind of stuff that drove home that this was a political satire.
Yeah, and even like our quote-unquote hero characters, like, oh, I thought we're supposed to be smarter than the bugs. Like, they're just so ingrained in it that they can't imagine it either.
Yeah, exactly. All they could imagine is bug killing. Not even like the when they came in, when like the fleet came in overhead and they got ambushed and all that stuff. Like, none of that convinces them to approach it any differently. Like, when they came back the second time for the invasion, they went the exact same way. Like,
yeah, it didn't just bother them. Throw it at there and like just hope it works.
Exactly. And like they're supposed to be the dumb ones, but we've been the dumb ones. Just we came up with technology and used that as a crutch to not think anymore.
Yeah. Like, I feel like nobody really knew what to do with this movie.
Yeah.
Like, clearly a lot of people didn't get it. And, I mean, it sounds like even some of the actors maybe didn't understand
Probably not. Probably quite a few of them didn't. Because I think that's one thing they said behind the scenes, too.
Yeah, and, like, I do wonder, like, because, you know, Casper Van Dien's been writing this for most of his career at, like, conventions and stuff, and, hey, hats off to him.
Exactly. Hey, gotta do what you gotta do, make your money.
Yeah, like, I wonder if he understands it now, or if it's just like, nah, man, it's a great action movie. Like, I feel like he's probably on the up and up at this point.
So I feel like you have to at this point. Like, I feel like enough people, enough people have come up to him and said something about it. Because for as many, straight action fans as you get, there's probably a couple people that was like, oh, I love the way you play Johnny Rico like an airhead. And he's like, airhead?
He's like, I was trying my best.
Exactly. But I think he's probably hit him by now.
Yeah, and like I'm trying to he's been in a couple other things. Like he's in that Tim Burton Sleepy Hollow movie, which I actually super like that movie.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's like a minor role in it. But,
okay, but he's been in something. I feel like he was on a TV show, maybe.
He has like a lot of credit. He was in that Alita Battle Angel movie.
Really?
That came out a few years ago. Again, minor role. I don't even know if he has a speaking role. He's like a bartender or something.
I gotcha.
But
who was he?
Yeah. Which again is a movie I liked that didn't like super blow up, but I really enjoyed that.
I did enjoy it. It was just slightly too long, like for me. I didn't necessarily too long, just it felt too long at least.
Yeah, but I think they were cramming like 3 books worth of story into it.
I believe it. I believe it. You should generally do, if you're gonna do a series, generally less is more. Like they're storylines for a reason, plot arcs for a reason.
Yeah, but like, so I've seen him in one other thing that I actually thought he was kind of perfect in, and it was he did a season of the Mortal Kombat web series, and he played Johnny Cage.
Yep.
And like, that's actually perfect.
That is spot on.
Yeah,
he even kind of looks
to
like
the point. Yeah, and so they did 2 seasons. Well, allegedly they did 3 seasons, and the 3rd season just never released. And I'm still, that's like, because the web series is actually pretty good. Right. But he was Johnny Cage in season 2 because it was some random guy in the first season, and they recast him. But I'm like, oh, this is actually like perfect because his career kind of matches the trajectory of Johnny Cage's character.
I didn't look at the meta narrative. That's funny.
Yeah, but it's also just like, no, he looks the part and he acts the part. Like, I was totally into that.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I didn't even think about that. Is this just on YouTube?
It was. The company that put it out had some weird legal issues, and I don't know if it's still on YouTube. I'm trying to see. It was called Mortal Kombat Legacy.
Okay, no, yeah, I've heard of that. I haven't seen it, but I have heard of it.
Yeah, I have the Blu-ray set, so like it looks like you might be able to track it down, but I think the official channel doesn't exist anymore.
I see. I have to go on and search for it.
Yeah, it was put out by the Machinima channel.
Oh,
there was some weird business of them like not paying people or some weird stuff going on. I'm not 100% on what they did, so I can't really speak to it. But gotcha. The official releases are not up anymore, but I think you can buy them and rent them on iTunes still, and I think there are like shadow uploads on YouTube.
Okay. I will. I'm gonna look into it because, like I said, that sounds pretty perfect. Like Casper Van Dien he literally looks like him, and if he's anything like what I gleaned from him playing Johnny Rico, then he acts like him too.
Yeah, and like honestly, that Mortal Kombat movie just came out, and like if they do a sequel, I'm like, please just cast him as that role. Like, I want to see him get an actual chance at it in a movie.
Yeah, especially with a good director. Like, yeah,
I
want to see what they can bring out of him. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, no word if they're gonna make a sequel or not, because that movie was kind of whatever.
Yeah, very, very much whatever.
Yeah, but I think it ended up like doing pretty well at the box office just by nature of this was like people are finally getting vaccines and could go to the movies again.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people also were just happy to see a lot of the classic stuff appear on Mortal Kombat. You know, like all the they were really leaning into nostalgia with this one.
Yeah, and it also had the HBO Max release, so I think it got a lot of views there. So
yeah, that's what
if they do it, cast Casper Van Dien.
Yes, just a free tip.
Yeah. A little, I guess not really cameo, but an actress before she got a little more fame. I don't know if you noticed, but Amy Smart is her co-pilot when they're flying onto the big ship.
Oh, Amy Smart from what is she from?
She was in Road Trip and The Butterfly Effect.
Oh, okay.
Just Friends. I guess she was on Shameless.
Okay, gotcha. I have to. I need to.
She's not like, she doesn't have this huge career anymore, but it was something I noticed when I was watching. I was like, oh shit, that was like her before she had kind of like broke big.
She made a little cameo appearance.
Yeah,
I need to see what she looks like so I can remember. Well, in the movie, you said she was a co-pilot.
Yeah, when they're first like getting ready to go to Klendathu, and what's her name is flying the little like. They got to fly the little ship to get onto the big ship.
Yes.
And she's flying and she has a co-pilot.
Oh,
and the co-pilot
yes.
was Amy Smart.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I'm following now. I remember what she looks like. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just
once you see her, you recognize her.
Yeah. She has a very distinctive look. Yeah. So
yeah, she was in the Crank movies.
Oh yeah, I love the Crank movies.
Yeah. She was his girlfriend in the Crank movies.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely. It's all coalescing now. Got it.
Yeah, I think in this she only has like one line, but I picked out her voice like right away. I was like, oh shit.
Well, there's not. I feel like a lot of people don't have a lot of lines in this one. It's really a kind of a small cast. Well, besides the group, the squad, Rico squad.
The main. Yeah, it's like him, Dizzy, and Jake Busey they're kind of the heavy lifters.
Yeah, exactly. Like even the people you start off the movie with, Carmen and why can't I never remember his real name?
Neil Patrick Harris.
Thank you, Jesus. It's never coming to me. And Neil Patrick Harris, like they come in and out of the story, but like they're more like sounding boards for Rico, just to kind of reflect off of how he used to be, to show how he used to be.
And like Neil Patrick Harris has maybe like 5 minutes of screen time.
Yeah, no, he disappears for most of the movie after the beginning.
Yeah, I will say Dina Meyer, who played Dizzy, like she's maybe too good for this movie.
Yeah, she's probably my second favorite actor in this. She was good.
Yeah, like she played it earnestly and she did a good job, and it makes you care like when her character gets killed off.
Yeah, that's when I was the saddest when she died. Because Michael Ironside, great, love him, and I wanted to see him in more. I wanted to see him do more because of who he was playing. But the character, I cared about Dizzy a lot more because, like you said, she was really she played a role pretty earnestly. Like you could see all the emotions. It wasn't just it's not satire. The propaganda movie feel that everybody else got, like character placeholders.
Yeah.
Everybody else was.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel like she was, and I think she went on to do more successful stuff than some of these other people. Like I know she was in the Saw movies.
Oh wait, who was she in the Saw? Wait, was she with Amanda? Was she? No. She was one of the cops who she was in the first 3, and she ends up getting killed in the third one. Actually, she was in 4 apparently as well, but I think her character was dead by then. But I think 4 and 3 kind of cross over, so she might have been in the beginning. Okay, interesting.
She's the one in the third one that has to like reach into the acid jar to get the key, and then like her chest gets ripped open.
Oh, yep. Okay, yep, that one. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Well, I'm glad. She's glad she got roles.
She's present in all 3.
Gotcha.
Or the first 4, I guess.
Well, I'm glad she got roles off of this because, like I said, she was she's one of the only people that were actually acting in here.
Yeah, and yeah, I like most of the stuff with her and Rico like is kind of the stronger when it comes to like the little bit of drama that's actually in the movie.
Yeah, because I mean everything else is like not fairy tale level, but it's like, you know, like Shakespearean drama like level, kind of where it's like very out in the open, not too many like, you know, underneath dynamics here. It's like I like her and I like her too, and we're gonna fight over her. I like you, but I don't like you.
Yeah, and like Rico kind of just acts like a child for most of the movie. Yeah. Like he even like gets mad at Dizzy for like showing up there. It's like, oh, you showed up here because of me.
Right. It's like you cannot prove that. And like, so what if you have somebody friendly here? Like, he was not very emotionally mature. He's not very mature at all, actually. Just in general.
Yeah, no, like everybody keeps kind of making fun of him. They're like, oh, you're only doing this for Carmen or whatever. And he's just like, no, I'm not. And then he has to like finally admit that he did when she breaks up with him, and now he's like, "Well, now I'm just stuck here."
Now you're in the military for no reason, and not on your own merits. That's something I was screaming at him the whole time. I was like, "Don't do it for her, especially because she's gonna be away. Like she's not even gonna be near each other."
Yeah, like even his parents are just trying to like talk him out of it the whole time.
Yeah, but he got swallowed up by the system because that's the kind of stuff that happens.
Yeah. Which, you know, even I was reading about some stuff about the book, and one aspect that is very much mirroring what some people are saying today is, like, the idea, like, oh, well, maybe only certain people can vote, and, like, this is your way to be allowed to vote and stuff
exactly.
like that.
Like, putting, like, those kind of citizenship restrictions that they had, like, what they call it, a citizen versus a civilian. There we go, yeah. Like that, and like the only way to do it, the only way to become a civilian and to get all the or a citizen and to get all of the perks of doing so is to benefit this government somehow, and like only the stuff they want to do. Not to, you know, you don't have any value until you help them, until you're doing something for them.
Yeah, and then they're just gonna throw you to the wolves anyway.
Like literally throw you to the wolves and not care about you at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and like there's just so much, like all the aftermath shots of any battle scene
horrible.
is just complete carnage, just body parts everywhere.
And then they cut to the commercial where they show the kids squashing the bugs, and like, here, you're doing your part.
Yeah. Or the one where it's like the soldiers are greeting the groups of kids and they're all like playing tug of war with a gun, and the soldiers are just laughing,
just watching it happen, and like
like it's so bizarre.
The one where it's like a public execution, like tune in tonight at 7 for public execution. Yeah, like, Jesus.
And they're like on every channel. Like, no, like you can't avoid it. It's just going to be on, so you know what.
Just turn the TV on, watch somebody die, and then go about your day. Like, this is the kind of society that does stuff like this. It's like a hyper, and like that's, I think the good part of making people accept it is to like kind of lean us into it slowly. Like you start off with a school, so that people recognize something people are used to, a high school, and then you start talking about, you know, social studies class, and then you slowly start to integrate stuff. And it's like, oh, this is out of the ordinary, this is weird. And then, you know, by the time you're inundated with the commercials, it's just like you see what kind of society has happened, and that you started to accept it because at the beginning you started to accept it, and so you see how close it can be when you look at it through that lens.
Yeah, and then you look at characters like his parents of like, oh, these are people who have just grown up and are perfectly okay, like not having their rights and like actively want to avoid it just because they don't want to be part of the system.
Exactly. But a young impressionable kid, especially with a teacher like whatever Radchek. Yeah,
Radchek.
Having a teacher like Radchek, like that's something that young impressionable people can get caught up in, and a lot of times they do.
But even, like, I don't know how old you are, but, like, did you have the DARE program?
I think I just missed that.
Okay. So I went through the DARE stuff, and, like, even that was kind of similar to stuff like that, where, like, I'm pretty sure they were, like, trying to get kids fingerprinted through that program. Like, just so they could be in the system. Like, hey, if you ever get kidnapped or whatever. But it's also like, hey, now you're in the system if you're ever a criminal.
Now we can pick up on you much easier. Just in case.
Yeah, which I think... I have a vague memory of, like, walking into a Walmart as a kid, too. And I think they were fingerprinting there. Jesus. And I think it was, like, it was just a system back in the day of, like, hey, you know, it's all about taking care of your kids, but there's that in the back end.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, but we can also take care of them if we need to arrest them.
No, really,
as well.
exactly. Like they, that's how they sell it to you. That's how they sell it to everybody, to take care of your kids, or watch out for your kids. Like that's how you convince them. You make them feel like everything bad is gonna happen, and then when they're 20 years later, when they have a small weed charge, then boom, busted easily.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just they're doing that with guns.
Exactly. And that's the kind of society that they're presenting in this movie, and that's really, really why I love it. Like it's the action is great and all that, and like that'll make me come back to it. But like what makes me think about it and remember it is what it had to say.
Yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it growing up as just an action movie, but it's amazing to me how it all just passed over me, and like looking back on it now, like, oh, this movie's actually super messed up.
That's how I felt about The Matrix. I we skipped and watched all through the action scenes and all that. It was great, loved it. And then when I watched it again, I was like, oh, that's what this is about. Like watched it recently.
Yeah. See, that was one I got in deep, like as a kid. Like I'm still a huge Matrix fan. Like I'm very excited to see what that new one's gonna be. That comes out
very
later
curious.
Year. But
I don't know how optimistic. Somewhat optimistic. I really want it to be good though.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a defender of the sequels. Like I understand that there are faults to them, but I actually rewatched them. I think last year during quarantine. I rewatched all three of them for the first time in probably like 5 or 10 years, and I think those sequels play better now than they did at the time. Just because, like, I mean, what I appreciated about those movies, they didn't treat you like an idiot. Like, hey, this is a pretty dense, like, movie, but we're just gonna do it, and if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. And if you don't, there's awesome action scenes in it as well. That's
true. There's a lot of action to distract you from the all that's going on. And I like the story, and honestly, I like how it ends. I like the overall story of, like, you know, the trilogy. It's just not necessarily the script, but like kind of the script. It's like the way you talk.
Yeah,
I get that they're computer programs and stuff, but like I just feel like things should be presented in a way that we can understand.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand bumping up against. I specifically speaking of like the architect
specifically
character.
The architect.
Yeah,
scene. Yeah, that.
Like, it's one of those things where, like, oh, the fourth time you see it, I understand
exactly. Yeah, I have to literally like pause and turn on the closed captioning and be like, okay, let me write this sentence down. What's the main idea? Which one's the main idea? And which one's just supporting? Which one's a new topic?
And again, I think having seen it so many times and being older now, like when I go back and watch it now, I'm like, oh, this plays a lot better now, and it's probably just because I've seen it so many times.
And it's part of growing up. You know, you start thinking more that way, thinking more critically. And like I said, I get it and I like it. I just and I feel like I liked it more when I was younger and I was just watching the action scenes, because Reloaded had some amazing action scenes. Like Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, those movies changed Hollywood for the foreseeable future. Like, and in a way, that is kind of similar to what this was doing. Of like, hey, it is an action movie that you can just go in and watch the action. But if you're paying attention, there's a lot of stuff going on.
There's a lot that you can get from this. It says a lot, and it's a lot that's pretty scary. Like, you see how similar things are, how similar people think. Like, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of people in power that think like the person that just wouldn't fathom that Bugs could think. You know, that Bugs were smart.
Yeah.
And she was sitting there like, will you just calm down and just like let me explain? We're on a debate show. And he was like, no, I refuse.
Yeah, I mean, Bugs are probably out there committing voter fraud as far as we know.
Well, as far as we know, we'll never find out.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, it's so crazy, like, how relevant this movie is.
Yeah, and it only got more so with age. It got riper with age.
Yeah, but I love it. I love this movie. I'm kind of glad I had a reason to talk about this.
I'm always happy to talk about Starship Troopers. I think it's my 4th or 3rd favorite movie. It's up there. It's up there in the top 5 or top 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly worthy of that. Like, when I was younger, it was definitely higher up on my list than it is now. But it is 1,000% a movie. If I ever encounter, I'm gonna sit there
Absolutely.
and watch
I'm not. There's no reason to stop. No reason to, just skip through the scenes and stuff because again, it says a lot.
Yeah. And, like, the movie's entertaining from beginning to end. Like, no matter where you jump in, like, you're not far away from something awesome.
And it's extremely well paced. Like, I did not feel myself dragging in any of the watches. Like, felt good.
Yeah. It's like a little over 2 hours, but it doesn't
It
feel
doesn't. It's 129
long.
minutes, and it really doesn't feel like it. Like, you just... I mean, you feel tired and exhilarated at the end, but, not in a bad way. It's like, I wanted an adventure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love this. Like, will gladly jump into it at any time, and it's kind of weird. There's like a video game coming out soon, like this year, I think. Yeah, can't remember the name. It's like Starship Troopers Terran something.
Is it like a real-time strategy game?
But yes, it is.
See,
that's what it looks like.
Calling us Terrans is a dead giveaway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like StarCraft, that feels very much inspired by this.
Which I could see. Honestly, well, no, I was about to say, was it the other way around? But no, Starship Troopers came first. Still, the novel came first.
Yeah, I don't remember. Oh, yeah, the novel was like the 50s.
So that was.
Yeah, but I don't know when the movie came out versus that game.
Yeah, I'm curious. Hold on, let me real quick. That's we have the internet for.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the name of this game coming out.
Okay.
Because there was another Starship Troopers game that has like a similar name, like from 1997.
Well, why are you looking at that? StarCraft actually came out in 1998, which is pretty funny.
Okay.
So they could have copied from Starship Troopers, either one.
Yeah. I mean, when I would play StarCraft, it would always have Starship Troopers in the back of my head. Terran Command, that's what it is. Starship Troopers Terran Command.
Interesting. Let me look that up. Sorry.
Yeah, and looks very much like these screenshots look like an RTS game. So
okay, I might have to check it out.
Which sounds great. Yeah, it just says planned release out in 2021, so no firm date.
But do they have a trailer of sorts or?
Yeah, I think there might be.
Well, I said movie, I meant game.
I was looking on Steam and they had like video footage.
Oh,
there,
beautiful. So. Okay, well, we'll see if it catches my attention. Oh yeah, there it is. Right, Terran Command on Steam. But yes, no,
gameplay reveal video on YouTube. So
I know what I'll be doing after this podcast.
Yeah, like it's one of those things. Like while the heart of the movie is definitely based in the satire, like you can easily do things based around the action as well, and it totally plays.
Because the action was so well done and so well, like the sound design and the design, the physical design of the bugs and of their rifles and all that.
Oh yeah, great. That's actually one thing I would like to point out. Is I love the look of the bugs. Like
it's not something you see a lot.
They are a great looking. Yeah, they're a great looking alien design. Like
how many? They have like what, 6 legs, 7 legs, and all the.
Yeah, well, they call them arachnids, but I'm not sure if they actually have 8 legs.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. And then I love how they point out, how you kill them, and like they give you that information beforehand, so you can knock a limb off. But like, you need to go for the brainstem to kill them, and
he's like, oh, you can take a limb off, and they're still 80% effective because that thing is just like going wild all over the ground.
Like, don't get close or it will stab you.
But yeah, they even have the flying ones, and then which I had forgotten about until I rewatched.
Oh yeah,
they
did have flying ones.
Yeah, and then the big ones that shoot the plasma and the brain bug. Which
the design of the brain bugs were really cool. It was gross, but it was really cool.
Yeah, like that thing always makes my skin crawl every time.
And watching them, Xander and Carmen about to get interrogated by it, and then seeing the Probuscus come and just punch through his head, I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, and there's like the little subtle hint that like they set the trap by luring him there by like controlling a human to send the message to the command or whatever.
Like all those little details like that, like just show that they do have intelligence, even if you don't want to believe it. Oh, and that's what I meant to bring up. What really sold everything to me, what really sold the satire aspect of it to me was at the end when Neil Patrick Harris read the brain bug's mind, and he was like, he's afraid, and everybody cheered, and I was like, oh god, okay, so that's.
Well, of course he's afraid. We're the invading force.
We literally took him hostage and dragged him around as he watched all these people kill his friends and family. Like, yes, he's terrified, and it's not something we should be celebrating.
Yeah, like, in a way, they're just defending their land. Like, the whole thing is
They've
crazy.
been defending their land this whole time. They've lived on this planet, these several planets, peacefully for so long until we decided we wanted it. And then we came in and we took it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like hilarious how in the background it is that, like, oh no, we like the heroes are actually the invaders.
Yes, that's exactly how media does. Like when they want how people portray media when they don't want their stuff to come out like that. Like they will find every other angle that they possibly can to make it to switch around, make it sound good. When really, like I said, we are the invading force. Like they never once said invasion. They always talk about defending their home, protecting their stuff. You never saw them say anything about taking their lands, which is what they were doing.
Yeah, and like you can see parallels to that today when there are studies that basically say like, hey, certain news organizations essentially operate as propaganda.
Yeah, like watching some of these some of the Fox News programs, it's like how can you possibly think like this? How?
Yeah. Like it's become a practice for me that whenever I check a news site, I also pull up Fox News just because, like, I just want to see what they're saying.
Right?
Like, how are they?
I need to see the counter programming here.
Pretty crazy to look at some of that stuff.
Yeah, like I don't understand how they can frame things the way they frame things.
Yeah, and I have some people in my family that's their choice, and I can't.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that you would have to even be close to that, because I can't fathom having conversations with anybody on that news network.
Oh, there is somebody in my life who is straight up at the point where like, oh, you can't watch Fox anymore. You have to go to Newsmax, and I'm just like, okay, we're done.
Oh my god! So Fox is too left for you. Fox News is too left leaning for you. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's getting. I've heard that out loud from somebody I know.
Wow, I did not know there was. Wow, I did not know that was a movement. It's like, they're too soft at Fox.
Yeah. Oh no, they're out there. Yeah. No, that is after the election happened. That 1,000% that swing happened.
Jesus. Alrighty then. Good to know that exists in the world.
Yep.
I can avoid that hopefully.
So, if you want to see the real life Starship Troopers propaganda, just watch Newsmax.
Exactly. You'll see how people can bury their heads in the sand and say whatever sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's rough out there.
It's hot out here.
But yeah. But yeah, is anything else you got to say about Starship Troopers?
I just really love what this movie has to say. I really love how they said it, and I really love the music in the background while they said it.
Yeah. Like that was something that really jumped out to me this time was the music.
Right.
Like I've always known, like, oh, the action and stuff is great, but like the RoboCop music is like some of my favorite like movie theme music of all time, and like picking up this time, I was like, oh, it's very similar. Like it kind of made me want to pick up the soundtrack.
I mean, honestly, I was thinking about it. I might want to pick up the soundtrack for both because I just love his Basil Palderis's sound. Like it's so like bombastic and like.
Yeah.
So like you can just like really get into like the big like symbolic scenes,
Yeah, I'm curious what else he's done. I mean, it looks like he has pretty extensive work here.
I can only think of those two. I know he's done a lot though. Like I only think of him in relation to Paul Verhoeven, and I know he's done more than just Paul's movies.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like he did at least he did RoboCop 3 as well, not the second one.
Huh.
But Hunt for Red October, White Fang.
Wow.
Hot Shot Part 2.
Yeah.
So
he's had his hands full then, I guess. Wow. I think he retired, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, his last movie was in 2002.
Okay, yep, he
so
retired then, yeah. Hey, you earned it.
Yeah, and oh, no, he did die in 06. So, yeah. He was 61. But,
well, he did a lot.
But hell of a body of work.
Yeah, honestly, Starship Troopers and RoboCop are enough. Like, you know, you can do those two and retire and be fine. But
yeah, that does remind me though, like the guy who did the score for Terminator 2. I can't remember his name, but like that he did like the first 2 Terminator movies, and like that's kind of it. And he's just like, he didn't do movie scores after that, and he's just like, yeah, people come up to me and tell me they really like my Terminator 2 score, and I'm just like, okay, I guess. Like he just like is so, he just doesn't care about it, and he doesn't understand why people love it.
That is insane to me. Brad Fidel, yes, yeah, he did a lot of James Cameron stuff. Yeah. He did Aliens too. Yeah, and then he just walked away from it. He was like, all right, I'm done with it. I'm done with movies now.
Yeah, like he had a couple things. It looks like his last movie credit is like 1996. But yeah, he's just kind of like, he did True Lies as well. But he's just like, yeah, like people talk to him and like that score is great. Like it is very good. And he's just like, I don't know. I just thought it was like some stuff I threw together, and you know, I guess
that's
people
so crazy
it.
How you could like view it like so. Like it's genius to me. Like that's genius stuff. But he's like, yeah, it's whatever, I guess.
Yeah. Like, I love that score.
Yeah, it's great. One of the best action movies of all time. Like, you know, it has to have a good score.
Oh, absolutely. One of the best sequels, one of the best action movies. Like, that,
so good, man. I love it. Watch that again.
But,
because it's on Netflix.
Yeah, but so is Starship Troopers, and less the Starship Troopers sequels.
We're not going to talk about the sequels.
I'm going to give those another shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give those another shot. I might watch that third one.
I'll watch the second one.
Just to see.
I'll watch the second one, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I know that one used to play on like Sci-Fi.
The second one or the third one? Okay,
second one. Because I would see that one on TV a lot, but that was a movie I watched when it came out, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess that was a thing.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
We still do have cable. We haven't cut the cord yet, so I might see what's on Sci-Fi.
Oh yeah, we're long past that.
that cord couldn't cut, huh?
Yeah, we got Netflix, we got Hulu, we got Disney Plus, and that's pretty much it.
We're in the age of streaming now.
Yeah, we got the HBO Max through a friend of mine, but
yeah, that's how you got to do it.
Yeah, we're living off Hulu mostly, so that pretty much covers us. But I have Netflix for specific things and Disney Plus for all the Marvel and Star Wars stuff.
When Disney Plus came out, you kind of knew you had to get it. Like. It was like a requirement.
Yeah, it's also so cheap.
It helps a lot. What, $6.99, $7.99?
Yeah, I think they raised it recently, but like not. It's still under $10.
So it's like you can't even get too mad at it.
Yeah, and I won't because the content's been great.
Like I've been loving Loki.
It's so good.
I'm really sad it's about to end, but you know.
Yeah, Alligator Loki is my
God.
everything.
That might be the best. Between him and old Loki are the best characters of the show.
Oh, that was amazing. Like, and just those two like buddied up together. And just the whole conversation of like, are you sure he's even a Loki? And it's like, well, of course he's green. And it's like, yeah, but he could just be playing the long game, but that would make him the most Loki. Like, I love that little chat
that whole scene, that whole sequence when Loki first landed in wherever they went. I can't remember what it's called, but like that whole thing with the Lokis, that was hilarious.
Yeah, and all the other ones show up and they're all immediately betraying
each exactly.
Each other. That
like
last
we had a deal.
We
had a deal.
Yeah. And then Alligator Loki just bites off his hand and then just chaos.
Oh my God, that was so funny. I need to rewatch it, honestly. That was so funny. I forgot how funny that shit was.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about rewatching all the episodes before the finale, but
I think I'll wait for my friends because they haven't seen it yet. So I'm going to rewatch it when they watch it, I think.
Yeah, this has been the only one where I haven't been waking up earlier for work to watch it because I normally wake up pretty early anyway. So sometimes I'll just I'll just get up an hour early and watch it. That's how I was doing Falcon and Winter Soldier. But this one I've just been waiting for the weekend. But I think the finale, I'm going to have to go out of my way to watch it before work because then everybody's going to be talking about it. Yeah, I think so. Like
it's like something you want spoiled. They thought about this one. They've been thinking about this one for a while. I can tell.
Yeah. I'm super excited to see how they wrap that up.
They cannot fumble the ending. They cannot. It's been so good. Like I have absolute faith that they won't.
Yeah, and like a lot of the post-credit scenes for this like current stuff hasn't really been stuff we haven't known about yet. And I'm wondering if this might be the first one to kind of be like, oh, okay, like what do we getting here?
Us. I heard there was a good. Well, my brother said there was a good post credit scene in Black Widow, but I haven't seen Black Widow yet.
Yeah, me
but
neither.
he said there was the second post credit scene was very interesting. He said so.
Yeah, I really want to see it because I was super excited for that, and I just like I'm debating like I want to go to the theater and see it, but I might just have to do the Disney Plus.
Yeah,
thing.
I'm not spending $30. I'm going to the theater.
Yeah, I mean, if I go to the theater, I'm going to spend more than that
true.
anyway, so I might do it. But because it'd be me and my wife, and I got to get my popcorn.
Got to get the popcorn. So. I got you. You're paying for 2.
Yeah, it's like, it's half the reason I go there. But yeah, I'm excited for that one. I love spy stuff, so I really want to see.
I'm writing up a spy story now, so I need this. Mm-hmm.
Oh, really nice. Yeah, well, hopefully great.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Then. It looked good. The trailers look good. I love Taskmaster, so we're gonna see how this goes.
Yeah, I'm curious, but all right. This has been a nice little chat about Starship Troopers, and a little bit of other stuff. But that's how it goes. We play it fast and loose around here. Before we hopped on here, did you want to plug your social media?
Oh, yep. You can follow me at VicJG, capital V, capital J, capital GEE. That's it. You can find me at Twitter, Instagram, like that. You can find my hot takes, my retweets, and I'm gonna start posting more pictures as well, doing some slight photography things.
Well, all right. And as always, you can check out our social media at Defending Movie on Twitter and Instagram, and then we have Defending Your Movie on Patreon. So be sure to check all that out. And Vic, I'm glad you were able to join me. I had a great time, and I hope everybody enjoyed listening.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I had a wonderful time. I always want to talk about Starship Troopers.
Well, maybe one day we'll trick you into a sequel or something.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm down, but we'll see.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me.